We're going there. Russell Gagan here from Russell's Fishing Tech, back at you with another tip. This one's a little bit unique and I've been excited about doing one of these. We're here with a customer, Patrick, and we're at Reed Yacht Sales down in Racine, Wisconsin. What we're looking at here is Patrick's new 21-foot boat. This is one of those unique boats. It's a Weldcraft. It's an all-welded hull and welded boat in general, all aluminum. You're pretty excited about it, obviously.
Yeah.
So Patrick's been up at the shop. We've got him rigged up with some new rods and reels. He's got a fish hawk, yada yada. But what we're looking at today that I wanted to talk about was, due to the uniqueness of the design of this boat, we're looking at how we're going to rig this up with rod holders, downriggers, planer board setups, that kind of stuff, right? So he got me pictures of the boat. I explained to him that due to the uniqueness and the fact that I've never been on one of these, we need to take a look at it in person and sort of decide before we start, ordering thousands of dollars worth of stuff, and we want to know where it goes and how it goes on. So let's start at a couple of the big important decisions, one of which was the downrigger. So when Patrick came to me and we talked about the downriggers, we figured we had two options. Option one is there's a plate here welded to this rail, specifically designed basically for the downrigger. And that's where we're going to end up putting Patrick's downrigger. One of our conversations was the back corner here, which is much more common on most boats that we rig up, especially boats with outboard motors. We generally put them on the back corner. Two reasons we decided not to do that in this particular case. One is, as you can notice here, the boat has a very extended long transom right here, so it makes reaching to the back corner to grab the downrigger ball and the release very difficult. Even though Patrick's a very tall guy with long arms, still would make it difficult to do that. The other factor here, and we'll show you, is these boats are designed with a giant kickout to hold the outboard motors, and you can see that big metal piece in the back of the boat that sort of holds the outboard motors, and they're designed that way, which makes it much more difficult to get a fish in the boat. You can't really use the middle of the boat to net any fish, obviously. So we need this back corner space open to be able to net fish and to be able to catch them. So we decided, both Patrick and I, that this side plate was the way to rig this boat with a downrigger, and I think he's even going to find that running it as what I call a boom downrigger straight off the side is going to become his most desired position, which will then adjust his diver size rods, the length of his diver rods accordingly. So that decision became pretty easily. Then the tough part was, because of this rail being right here and taking up a bunch more space, it made it difficult for us to decide where we were going to put diver holders. We didn't want to put one on the rail and have it up above the one in front of it. So what we did is we took a measurement here, and from where my hand is right here, all the way going forward across this pad up to the front there was more than 36 inches. What that's going to allow us to do is lay a really nice 36-inch track all the way up the side of this boat on each side, and we're going to be able to very nicely put 2 ratcheting rod holders and a 3-rod tree on the side of this boat. It's going to give him plenty of space. As I've mentioned before in my videos, I like 18 to 24 inches in between your 2 diver holders. We're going to be able to acquire that here with that track. We're also going to be able to put that planer board tree up in front of that on the end of that 36-inch track. It's going to give him plenty of room to run 2 divers per side and 3 boards per side. So Patrick's set up really nice. He's going to be set up to run 2 downriggers, 4 divers, and 6 planer boards with a really nice 12-rod spread if he wants to put out that many rods on any given day. It's a beautiful boat. I'm really excited for Patrick, and I'm really happy and glad he allowed me to come down and take a look at it with him, and we're going to get that stuff ordered up for him. I think it's going to be a huge benefit for him that we know we're going to have it rigged up right. I get a lot of phone calls every day with customers asking me, I'm getting tangles, or how do I rig something up, or how much length in between something, and that's where making a decision when you get a new boat on where you put stuff will help eliminate a ton of frustrations going forward. So what we're going to do now is we're going to jump in another boat that they have here at the marina and at Reed Yacht Sales, and we're going to show you sort of what the end result's going to look like in another one. Now we've jumped in one of these other Weld Crafts. This is a little different model called the Maverick, set up a little different way, and this is a 22 footer, but it gives you the general idea of what we're going to end up with as an end result with Patrick's 21 footer. So if you look at this boat, this one has the Canon Optimum downriggers set up on that plate like we talked about. This one's got dual access rod holders, which is really nice, especially in this style of boat where that advantage is going to be. You're going to run your rod out the inside holder here, your downrigger rod, when you're fishing, but when you get a fish, almost every single time you're going to want to just take that rod and put it in this particular rod holder to open up that whole back corner like we talked about to net the fish. Again, these are some of the decisions that you make initially when you go ahead and you rig your boat to make life easier. If you only bought a downrigger that had one rod holder and it had to stay there, you're definitely going to make netting fish much more difficult on yourself. So this one's got a really nice downrigger setup, and it's in the same position as where Patrick's going to be on his. And then as far as the side goes, the only difference is going to be, so we've got a Canon track right here. You can see this is a shorter one. This is probably a 24, so we're going to have a 36-inch track that's going to end way up here, and then we're going to have the two downrigger rod holders, and these are ratcheting Canon ones. You're going to have the two downrigger Dipsy rod holders, two Dipsy rod holders right here, ratcheting holders. He's going to do the same thing, but then up forward is where we're going to have the tree. And this particular boat is set up with actually holders on the rail, so it's a little different setup, but we will have the the tree, the 3-rod planer board tree right here. So that gives you a great idea of what the end result is basically going to look like for Patrick, how we're going to have that set up, and how it's going to help him catch a ton more fish. And why is he going to catch more fish with it? Well, because he's going to avoid tangles, he's going to avoid catastrophes at the back of the boat. Those things are going to end up equaling more fish. So hope you enjoyed this video and this tip. I'm really excited to see how it works out for Patrick. Maybe we'll give you a little insight when we can get on his boat this summer. Good luck fishing.